So number two is language. What language do they use? Are you part of the target market? Because if you aren't, you've got to find out what their language is. How do they speak to each other? How do they speak to each other? You know, a solicitor or an accountant are going to talk in a very, very different way than maybe someone in the beauty industry or someone in the skateboard industry or someone selling bikes. They're going to talk in a very, very different way. If someone is in the market for a bike, a good bike, they're going to talk in a very, very different way to an accountant or solicitor, for example. So how do... Hey, how are you doing? It's Alan here, and I am reading this book, The One Page Marketing Plan. Really, really good book, really simple, which is your marketing should be really, really simple. But there's one thing in this book that just grabbed me, and I just want to talk about it for 5 minutes. It's creating an irresistible offer. Creating an irresistible offer. And Russell Brunson is great at this. Russell Brunson is the ClickFunnels guy, and he has systemized this, just creating the irresistible offer. Now, what is it? What is the irresistible offer? Well, there's different aspects to it. The first is value. Value. What is valuable to your prospect? What is valuable to your prospect? Now, a great way to find this out is, first of all, are you part of the target market? Because if you are part of the target market, you know what's valuable to you. But if you're not, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be part of the target market because you're the seller, you're not the buyer. So, great way to find this out. What is valuable is to listen to the complaints. So, you go to your customer care department and you ask them, what are people complaining about? What's concerning people? What's keeping people up at night? What's bothering them? Now, one way we used to do this in the past, when I was working for myself, one way we used to do this is we would go to forums. So you go to Quora, you go to, there's a great board study, it's a great Irish one. And people complain. Great place to go to as well is reviews, like Google My Business reviews, and what are people complaining about? What is bothering them? When do they feel like they've got ripped off? Because this is important. The amygdala is looking around for, you know, the amygdala is part of your brain that is the fear part, and it's looking around for things to be frightened of. And just fear is a great motivator at the end of the day. So, what's valuable to them? What are they complaining about? This company did this, this company did this. What are they upset about? Because then when you find out what's valuable to them, when you find out what they're complaining about and what's important to them, first of all, you use their words back at them, so you're speaking their own language. It's almost like their own unconscious talking to them. When they see your headline, it's exactly what they've been complaining about. They see your headline or they see your subject line in the email, it's like, wow, jumps out at them because it's exactly what they've been complaining about in the forums. So you take the target market's words and repeat them back to them. So yeah, take a look at forums, take a look at boards today. There's lots and lots of places where you can take a look. Quora is great. Or even just review sites. Or your own customer care department. What are the top 10 complaints that people have? Now, first of all, obviously, you improve your system so that these complaints don't come in as much. You resolve the complaints before they even happen. But then you put that language that they use in their complaints in forums to your customer care department. You put that language right in your headline, in the headline of the ad, in the headline of the Facebook ad, in the subject line of your email. So when they see it, it's like their own unconscious talking back to them. It's like their own unconscious talking back to them. This exact complaint that they have, because you can be sure if one person complains, there's 100 people who have the same issue but haven't complained. So 100 people have the same issue that haven't complained. So this is actually, This is from the book more or less, but I'm I'm expanding it out a little bit to my own experience, because you don't talk about complaints in the book. But that's just a good way to find out what's valuable to your customer. What are they complaining about? And also, obviously build your customer avatar and think about, what's keeping this person up at night? What's bothering them? What are they afraid of? What do they want in their life? Obviously, what social media they go to, what magazines they read, all that kind of stuff. But mostly what's keeping them up at night. And go to the forums to find out just what the complaints are. So that's number one, value. Let's move on. Let's move on, because that was 5 minutes. This is supposed to be a 5-minute video. That's number one, value. So number two is language. What language do they use? Are you part of the target market? Because if you aren't, you've got to find out what their language is. How do they speak to each other? How do they speak to each other? A solicitor or an accountant are going to talk in a very, very different way than maybe someone in the beauty industry, or someone in the skateboard industry, or someone selling bikes. They're going to talk in a very, very different way. If someone is in the market for a bike, a good bike, they're going to talk in a very, very different way to an accountant or solicitor, for example. So what's the language? How do they talk to each other? Because you want to talk to them in the exact same language that they use. It's got to be like they're almost talking to themselves, like their unconscious is talking to them and telling them, go buy this. So find out what language they use. Number 3, reason why. Why you're building this great offer. Why are you doing this great offer? Because their amygdala is looking around for danger. And as soon as you create this offer, if it's a really, really good offer, they're going to be like, well, why is he's trying to rip me off here? He's trying to rip me off here, because why is this such a great offer? Why is this such a great offer? So give them a reason why. We're getting rid of stock. We want to help. It's a difficult time for small business people now. We want to help small business people. That's what we're about. So that's why we have this such amazing offer. So reason why, so important. Next reason, scarcity. Scarcity. Make it scarce as much as you can. Now, obviously, if it's not scarce, it's not scarce, but there's got to be some scarcity in there. Can you only sell a certain amount of these things? Is this a trial product that we're only selling for a certain amount of time? Can you have a countdown timer that we're only selling until this date, or we're only selling at this time, or this special offer is only available for this amount of time? Now, obviously, if you do a special offer for 3 days, whatever it happens to be, you've got to finish it after the 3 days. Don't carry it on afterwards if you told them it's only for 3 days. Don't put in fake scarcity, but put in scarcity. Really, really important. It's got to be some scarcity. We are primed to react to scarcity and move towards it. Next part of the irresistible offer is value stacking. Can you stack the value? What bonuses can you put in? What help files can you help people to show them how to use this product? How to use it to most effective? Can you give them videos? Can you give them help? Can you give them a gold status that they're a special customer, or they're a member? Can you stack value? Now, Russell Brunson is great at this, the ClickFunnels guy. Brilliant at stacking the value. More and more and more bonuses. Sometimes it's even better to have the bonuses more valuable than the actual offer. Actually, have the bonuses more valuable than the actual offer. What bonuses can you put in? What extra value can you put in? Put as much extra value into this offer as possible to create the irresistible offer. Next, guarantee. Guarantee. It's so important, especially on the web now. Especially on the web. Everyone's amygdala is looking out for being ripped off, or fear. So can you give some sort of guarantees that you're taking the risk of the transaction back on yourself? Now, this can be, obviously, with all products, you cannot do this. But what guarantee can you add in? Is there any guarantee that you can give them to take away some of the risk, so it's easier for them to go ahead with the transaction? Upsells. Upsells. Once someone has decided on buying the offer, they're in the mode of buying. You've got them in the mode of buying now. You've already spent money to get them to this point where they're going to buy. You've spent money, you've made phone calls, whatever you've done, you've spent money on ads, you've spent money on social media, you've spent money on all the marketing, the copywriting, the graphics, everything else. You spent a lot of money to get them to here. But if they have an upsell during the transaction, you know what an upsell is. Do you want fries with that? Would you like fries with that? Would you like to make it a meal? If you have an upsell during the transaction, anything extra they spend cost you nothing. It's pure profit at that stage because you've already spent the money on getting them there. So ask them, do you want fries with that? Would you like to make it a meal? Or whatever is relevant in your industry. But it's a great time to do an upsell. People who bought this product usually buy this product too. And you get a special deal if you buy them together. Upsell, do your upsell. So it's all in this book, the one-page marketing plan. Obviously, I'm not reading the book out. It's just the irresistible offer just jumped out to me. And it's so, so, so important. Can you do an irresistible offer? The offer in marketing is everything. The offer is everything. So can you create an irresistible offer for your market? And this video is a checklist of things that should go into your offer. So you can boom, 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 boom. Scarcity, value stacking. What's the original value? Take a look at the forums. What bothers people? What keeps them up at night? That's what you take that goes into your offer. This has been Alan here. I just want to take you through this really important part of this one-page marketing plan book, the irresistible offer.